Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm here with my girls. I feel like your chair needs to come up a little bit more. Can we bring Irina's chair up just a little bit more? I'm super short, but you a little, just a, I don't know, like half. Can it go up anymore?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. We're good?
Yeah.
Good to go? How do we look right here? And can this mic, is this mic gonna come down more?
No, it's good. It'll pick you up.
You sure?
Promise.
Okay, and we don't want it to be in the frame?
No.
Okay, all right.
I did not see it in the frame in the Legacy Makers either.
Hmm?
They did for BTS. I said
Oh yeah, you could see it in the BTS.
Yeah.
All right, no lipstick on our teeth, we're good?
Bottom row.
Laura? Okay.
Let me see. You got it.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, we good?
Yep.
Wait, hold on.
We're ready.
All right. And yours is recording as well. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And action.
Action. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Well Podcast. We are on episode 3, and we are keeping this ball rolling, talking about the issues that concern our lives and how to find solutions that will strengthen our wellness. So I have 2 wonderful guests here today. I've got Tia Harrell and Irina Currington. These are my 2 really, really close friends as well as partners. And today we're going to talk about collaboration as the new currency. All right? Because we have so much going on in our world today, and you can feel like, you got to figure it out on your own. But we're going to have a conversation today I know is going to bless so many of you out there to find the alignment with the people that you're supposed to build with. But first and foremost, to find alignment within yourself. So I want to just start off by just talking about, what I do as a holistic wellness strategist with the Mark Total Body Wellness Network. When I first started the Mark, I really thought I was going to have to build this thing on my own. And I wanted to call it the Mark Program. But a really good friend of mine reminded me that, Wame, you are into networking. You're always partnering. You're always bringing people together in order to bring solutions to others. And so that is what the Mark Total Body Wellness Network is all about. It is about bringing wellness solutions, not only through services that I provide in holistic wellness coaching, but also naturopathic care, also the work that you'll hear a little bit more about what we do with the Reset Experience for ladies, which helps high achieving women and purpose-driven women to have a season where you are resetting your body, you're resetting your nervous system, and you're also working on your emotional wellness. I'm super proud to partner with Dr. Isawine Ahogotu. We're getting ready to launch her app here in the next couple of weeks, and you guys are going to have access to naturopathic care through community. These things are so powerful and so innovative, and this is what is bringing transformation to individuals in our world. Because I believe that right now, more than ever, leaders matter. Not leaders who are perfect, but leaders who are continuously finding solutions to the issues of our lives. And so we're going to talk about that today with my girls. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Welcome to the Well Podcast. So good to have you here. I'll start off with Tia. Can you tell everybody out there about who you are? I know who you are, but tell them about who you are and just a few pointers about what you do in your work.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Tia. I love giving communication tips and strategies to leaders to help them both personally and professionally. I spend a lot of time coaching with inner dialogue. I truly believe that when you have the right conversation with yourself, and that conversation about just pursuing your destiny, your purpose, your vision, your mission, when you have that conversation with yourself, then the conversation you have with everyone else takes care of itself.
That is so powerful. We're going to get more into that. Tell us who you are, Coach Irina.
Hi, I'm Irina Currington, and I am so passionate about women I'm very passionate about families, making sure that we are reaching our wholeness and our optimal state. And so what I do is I help women, like high performing women, really rise and thrive in every area of their life. So just rise, reconnect with themselves, and thrive. And so I do that through a variety of services and systems and things like that. But I love just being able to give that emotional mastery and that identity, and really work towards the legacy activation.
So powerful. Guys, these ladies are being very humble right now, but they have been such a blessing to my life in sisterhood and in partnership. And I knew that it was important to have this conversation right now, because we are in a right now moment. We are in a moment where legacy, purpose, and alignment will be what we propel ourselves into destiny. This is a moment of destiny. So first thing I want to talk about, ladies, is just the process that you have to go through in order to become a collaborator. The inner healing work, the confidence that, you have to build within yourself, and also being able to truly see the value in others, who are building and seeing where you're in alignment. So talk to me about what it has taken for you to become collaborative, and what sort of inner work did you do to walk in that space?
I think that takes a lot of self-actualization for where you fall into a problem-solving process. Some people, they do not necessarily know where they fall, right? What I had to learn about me is that I am a trailblazer. I am the person that's great at the beginning of the process. I'm not the person that's great at the end of it, or that's going to walk through it. I like to blaze a trail like it when it's all messy and no one knows what they're doing. There's no rules just yet. And I love to being that part of helping to define it. Once it gets to a point where it's all administrative and where now the processes are developed and the system and the tools are there, my hand is off and I have to move on to the next thing. But I had to understand that about myself, and also not shame myself for the areas of my life where I couldn't walk alongside someone for the long haul. So that way I could build better partnerships in the beginning and set that expectation in the beginning with whoever I'm going to collaborate with.
That's really powerful. I mean, just finding ourselves and being on this journey of building your vision, your brand. Collaboration is important. However, we also have to be mindful that it is from God, that it is a God collaboration. So that inner work has to be done. And I know, Irina, you work in that space with emotions. Look, let me just pull this let me give a little shameless plug and tell y'all how I had to do a lot of deep emotional work with this wonderful book here, Reclaim Your Radiance. And that's what you do in terms of helping with emotional mastery. But before you were able to do that with all of us, you had to go through your own process.
And do you ever? And here's the thing, if you do not do that inner work, you are shortchanging yourself and everyone else around you, because you're then pouring from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And if you do not do that work, then what happens is you get so far, and then what happens is you start to fall, because you're dealing with your insecurities that you did not deal with when it was when you were small and when things were not off the ground yet. But once that acceleration hits, we get into the limelight, and now we're, out before everyone. And, the word says that great is the fall. If we walk in pride, we have to learn humility. We have to learn to walk in and deal with the shadows, right?
Yeah.
And not just allow ourselves to cut people off, but actually see, why is this bothering me? So
yeah,
that's good.
So learning how to relate to others.
Absolutely.
Which starts within. We got to learn how to relate to ourselves and how to navigate through all of those emotions, because it's so exciting when you get the vision.
Absolutely.
I remember when I got the vision for the mark, it was like a light bulb went off. I was ready to take off. I went and I got with Dominique Bradbury, got the logo done, got the LLC, and you do all of the practical things. But little did I know that I was going to have to go through this inner transformation that would prepare me to become a collaborator. And it's something I'm really, really passionate about because it's the place that I've seen the most fruit. It's like I've seen the fruit of doing the inner work, and then I've seen the power of being at Legacy Builders and didn't know if I was going to go on my own or how that was going to turn out. And Tia's like, oh, I'm coming with you. So and I'm sure you guys have seen the footage of us out there. And it was just so wonderful because we're in alignment. Like, I don't have to explain to either of these ladies about who I am. They don't have to explain. It's not laborious. I think that's one of the signs of great collaboration is there's a flow. There's an ebb and flow. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have things to work through. You will definitely have things to work through. There's a greater level of accountability. You get to know people in deeper ways. And sometimes you do have to work through some things. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the work of collaboration. So we know, because we want you to leave today thinking about your purpose and thinking about who you should be collaborating with, who are you in alignment with. What is so important in this hour in order for us to move into our destiny and into building is collaborations that are in alignment. But let's talk about the messy part of that. The people that you lose, right? The people that you thought, oh, we're going to be on this journey.
Yeah.
We're going all the way. And then that relationship ends or you have a certain pivot. The ultimate thing that I'm learning is that, God knows the ending and the beginning. And what's important is that we be in alignment with him so that he can bring us into alignment with others. And I've learned that the hard way. Can you ladies speak on that of alignment and having to, let relationships go so that you can get in alignment with God?
So there's this one particular situation I'm thinking of, and I started out with these women and I absolutely love and adore them, right? But because I still had some work that needed to be done, I was out of alignment. And as a result of that, I showed up in this particular relationship not at my best. And so it cost some trust in that relationship, or it broke some trust in that relationship. And so as a result, we weren't able to move forward. And now it's not the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so sometimes, and we have to be honest with ourselves where we are.
Yes.
And when sometimes we have to let people go so that you can start to see yourself as a greater piece of the puzzle, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
So sometimes those relationships come and they are purposeful for a season.
Right.
But then when that season is up, then God starts to, I found that, usually I come full circle and here we are again at the same place. And then now God opens the door for greater. And that means I need to do the preparation work in the background. But in order to be positioned for those aligned relationships, that, I can show up with authenticity and with truth and supporting. Yeah. I think Tia, you did a really great job. You do a really great job. And you also, Wame, of just positioning yourself as a humble servant,
So important.
And so, with that, you do a great job. Both of you ladies do a great job at making sure that, others are spotlighted too. Yes. And not just, focusing on yourself and, ultimately God gets the glory.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
That's so good. What about you, Tia?
I love saying that great collaborations allow you to be yourself.
Yes.
and they
Yes.
allow you
Mhm.
to
Yes.
grow more into yourself, right? And
Mhm.
unlock those levels of yourself that you didn't know were there.
Yes.
And at times, you're going to have to accept some tasks within that collaboration, but you should always do it with the goal in mind that if I learn this, I will be better.
Yes.
But to do that, the deep work that has to happen, at least that had to happen in me, is I had to learn how to develop my own solutions for how I show up.
Mhm.
You know, and
Yeah.
that way I knew what to say yes to and what to say no to.
Boundaries.
Before that,
Yeah.
you just
Mhm.
jump into
Capacity.
things, right?
Mhm.
Because you want to help.
Mhm.
And even though that's the right heart, the
Yeah.
spirit to say you want to help, I have found that I have been more harmful, and I've also been harmed in the things I said yes to or the things other people said yes to that they should not have than those who said no.
Mhm.
So that was huge for me, just
That's
learning
big.
that to say, I know the solution that I bring to the table. I can show confidently and be that solution if this problem meets my skill set.
Yes.
Mhm.
And is there the opportunity for me to increase my solutions in this?
Mhm.
But that is deep. And you
That's
have to go
very
on your
mature.
own road for that to happen,
Mhm.
really.
Yeah.
It's one of those roots that grow down before it grows up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That
Mhm.
takes so much maturing. And I want to stay there for a minute because you said something that's super important, which is that you want to know how to show up in a space, whether you're going to say no, you're going to say yes, or maybe you even need some time to back up.
Mhm.
I think in collaborations, what I've learned is that I have such a heart for people
Mhm.
that I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to be present for everyone. And I had to really acknowledge that I just couldn't do that.
Mhm.
And I learned it the hard way. You learn it through butting heads with people. You
Mhm.
learn it through realizing, oh, wow, the way this person moves and operates is not what I'm into. I'm not in alignment with that. One of the things I do love about our sisterhood is the servitude,
Mhm.
but I also think it's so important to learn your people.
Yes.
Who are the people in your life? Like, I think about the things that, Tia not only likes, but what she's working towards. I listen to her when she's talking about her goals and her visions. Like, I'm in it. I'm like, okay, so I know how to encourage her. When
Yes.
Irina is sharing about her goals and her visions, I'm excited. So I know when I come back to another conversation, I want to remind you, hey sis, you said you was going to do that.
Absolutely.
Do that. And I'm telling you, my sisterhood now is surrounded by that. But we're very strong women too. We're not pushovers. We're not, it's not fake. It's very, very sincere. Tia called me the other day just to give me a word. She had no idea what I was going through, but she's in tune with me. We've known each other that long. And so you want to be in sync with the people that you're building with.
Mhm.
It's so exhausting when you're not.
Yes.
It's so exhausting when you're not in alignment, when there's constant friction, when there's not reciprocity,
Yes.
there's not understanding. Let me give you a quick example, and I want you guys to talk. Let's talk about this, okay?
Mhm.
So I'll give you an example. We all do a lot of collaborations.
Mhm.
When I am in Irina's space and she's giving me her materials, I take all of this like seriously. Like this is her pride and her joy. This is what she's built. This is like not a game to me. When I'm in Tia's space, whether we're working on a project or we're working on something, I take what she does seriously.
Mhm.
And I think that's so important to not become familiar with your partners. And you really, really take it seriously. So let's just give it an example. Let's just say Tia has a cohort or some sort of project and she invites me into the space and I'm in there. I want to be in. Like, I don't want to just kind of skim over it.
Yeah.
And I think that often we can become familiar with others and we start just, I just want a little bit of that and a little bit of, and that, that has its place where you can take what you need. But I think in collaboration, it is so powerful to engage with your partners in a way that that just shows them that I'm listening. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing with this. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I absolutely love the mark and everything that you represent, Wame. And just when I met you, you're such an encourager and such a visionary, and it's just so powerful. And you are a powerful woman. And for me, it was such a blessing to connect with you. And I don't ever want to take that for granted. I don't ever want to take that, lightly. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want to just, when I go to work out with you, I don't ever want to go and change up the workout that you give me, because, and you do so much more than just work out, or that you're not just a fitness coach, right. So everything that you embody, I want to value that, and I want to add value to it.
Thank you.
So in everything that I show up, every time that, we're around each other, I want to see what can I add to? How can I amplify what you're doing and not take away from, and I feel like in collaborations, we can get so hung up sometimes on just wanting to get ahead.
Yes.
God has not called us to hustle. God has not called us to grind. He has called us to, work from a place of rest and to be able to show up as our full, authentic self within collaboration. And so the wealth, we have to share it, and we have to know that there's, that if it's not just this pie that, I take a piece and it's, it's not the scarcity mentality, right?
Yes.
And so we have to approach it from a place of abundance.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah,
that's good. And speaking of that, we even in the reset experience, as we started to build that, we had to work
absolutely
through our processes, and we had to get to know each other in a deeper way, and it really strengthened our friendship and our sisterhood, and I'm so grateful for that. Because a lot of women, women can be catty.
Absolutely.
If you don't do that inner work, that's how it'll come across. But when you think about your sisterhood, your partners, your collaborations, I just want to encourage us all out there, just be mindful of the work that others have put into their portion, and respect it, value it, because that's really, how collaboration gets strengthened. Like, to know that person values you.
Yeah, true. I love what you just said about value. I have a personal intrinsic belief that whatever system you love honoring rewards you. Any system. If you love honoring your body, your physical health, it will reward you, right? If you love to honor investment, it will reward you. Yeah. And on another side of that, most people operate in the trade space, that if they at least go through the motions, do what it says, then they live in that trade system. And I believe when you have a connection, you have a good collaboration, you should only join those that you love honoring, so that you can be rewarded by that company. And that's where wealth is.
That's
truly
good.
Like, when we believe in trade, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. But when you live under the honor system of reward, it's always overflowing. Always. And I think it's so important that you honor the systems within yourself, so that you can live within that overflow that can produce the output that's necessary to allow you to reach others. So I try my best to show up in that way for every collaboration that I can. And when I find that thing, when someone comes to me and they say, "Hey, Tia, would you like to be a part of this?" If I don't feel that love, I just can't touch it, because I know I'm not going to show up with the level of heart that's necessary for me to be the best version of myself. And I refuse, I always say, I refuse to be your Jonah. I'm not going to get on your boat and be in your way, then you got to throw me off.
Right.
So
that's a good one.
I pay attention to that energy. Like, does this excite me? Do I see the future for this? And we're such leaders, each of us, and we're such visionaries that when someone tells you a problem and you start to I can see that, I can see it, you get those divine answers. It's like, I know that I can show well to honor this system, and the more I love and I learn how to honor this, the better it's going to be. I only want to live underneath the reward system. I don't do trade anymore.
That's so powerful, the honor system that rewards. You all hear that? There's an honor system, ask yourself, am I honoring my friendships, my partnerships? Maybe you're collaborating with family members. Many of us are building family legacies. Ask yourself that question, what is your honor system? What does that look like? What are you thinking about when you are watching someone else accelerate? I mean, I want to see these two ladies. We're going to become multimillionaires together. Go ahead and touch and agree. We're going to touch and agree. Because it's true. Because it's like, why not? Why limit yourself when you can propel with another? Where 2 or 3 are gathered, he's in the midst. God is about community and collaboration.
Yes.
With that, I want to move a little bit into the actual work that each of you do. What do you feel like in this season you are being called to? What is so heavy on your heart that it's just bubbling over into projects and things that you're doing in this season? Go ahead, Tia.
In this season, I am called to activate leaders and to really help them to heal on the soul level, the identity level, so that they are not living in trade and transactions anymore, but they can live in that level of their divine reward. Yeah, it's so important to show up full. And we have often been taught that our value is about what we serve others, what we do, our gifts, our job titles, but that's not it at all. And I really am charged and honored to show them a different way that's going to allow them to show up fully activated, motivated, energized, strengthened, so that they can be the best version of themselves that they need to be. And the things that they do for others no longer drains them, but it rewards them.
It rewards. That is so powerful. Stop, press replay, and listen to that again, because you need to get connected with her. I know a few of you out there, you are right on the brink of moving in the direction you need to, but you need to hear certain things that are going to speak to your spirit and speak to your purpose. And so get connected with Tia. What about you, Irina?
So, man, I was in prayer and just laying my heart out before God. And for me, it always comes back to family. That's my, my authority. That's where, my sphere of influence is. I have 6 children. I'm in an all male household. Yeah. So God has really been speaking to me about how do I, as a woman, show up in my relationships with my children, with my husband. How do I show up as me being the feminine, right? Not taking on that masculine energy, but really showing up in the fullness of who I am, who I've been created to be. I am peace. That's what my name means. And so I shift the atmosphere. Yeah. Right. And so a lot of us women, especially mothers, we show up in our homes, we nag, we try to push, we try to prod, even our kids, we want them to get, all A's, we want them to get honor roll, and we push them, but it needs to be intrinsic. And so in this season, God is calling me to really show up as not just that woman, but also empower other women and equip other women to show up as themselves, to be their best version, and to be able to lead well in their homes, and, not just in their homes, but also in their businesses. And so, but how do we do that in a way that we're not drained? Like Tia said, we're not, burning the candle at both ends, but that we're doing it from a place of rest. Yeah. So that is, I
wanted to talk to you about like the emotional work. Yeah. The work that has to be done in your emotions in order to move to the next level, to even be a collaborator. Like emotions play such a big role. And right now we are in one of the most emotional times ever. Like we got to get it together. Are you guys checking on your emotions out there? I hope you are. Please do the inner work, because these are some times that are pulling on emotions. Every day we're waking up to constant news and this thing and that thing. How do you approach the emotional wellness aspect of collaboration?
So the first thing that I believe is important is that we're checking on, you know, very aware of how are we feeling? How are we, what, like Tia mentioned, you know, what's the energy inside of me? And I usually walk women through the HOPE framework, which is hear, own, perceive, and embrace. And so that's a process that you can start to check yourself and check your responses, and to be able to show up with authenticity and powerfully, you know. So when you are checking, first you check your awareness, right? And then you go and you actually own whatever that emotion is, whatever you're feeling, you own it. And you own it 100%. If you are feeling resentful, own it. If you're feeling angry, own it. If you're feeling jealous, own it. Whatever that is, whatever that emotion is, a lot of times we try to push it down and we try to act like it's not there.
Right.
But what that does is it starts to corrode the friendships and the collaboration, and people can show, I mean, people can know, they know how you're feeling. It shows, right? And so then we end up showing up not as authentically as we could be. And so, you know, once we own it, then we need to really start seeking God's face and really understand, okay, how do I start to move past this? And that's the perception, the perceiving. And then the embracing is there's a shift that's required, right? If I'm feeling this thing, to get to from point A to point B, there's a journey. So what is that journey? What is the strategy? What is the vision that, you know, I need to move towards?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's all, you know, I think in systems, and that's
I love that. I love that about you, because I do in a different way, but I don't think in systems emotionally. You've helped me with that, because that has been a very important area of growth this year for me, because of the areas God is moving me into. It's been very important that I manage my emotions and that I'm aware of what's going on. And I think managing your emotions, like you just said, it's not about stuffing your emotions, but actually facing it, owning it, and then doing the work through it to get to the other side.
Yeah. Can I share one more thing?
Sure.
Okay, so this started with me. I literally had to sit there and do this work for 12 years before I could even start to understand the process. And so God took me through this. I remember just sitting on the edge of my bed, like feeling like I'm not going to make it through another day. I mean, I had my oldest was 2 at the time, and he was, you know, mommy this, mommy that. And then my second born, who's now 18, he was 9 months old. He's like up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was like the one of the worst winters that we had experienced prior to this one. But I remember being at that space where I was like, oh my gosh, something has to give. Like something is going to give, or I'm going to go. It's going to get really bad. And so once I opened that Pandora's box, you know, I couldn't push it down again. So then I had to figure out, what do I do with this? And how do I show up in a way that doesn't repel my family, and that I'm able to move forward with peace? And so that is, I encourage all of you women out there that it's important that you do this work, that you own where you're at, and that you really start to understand that you don't have to be stuck in that. And you don't have to show up every day in your life from a place of compromising, right? But that you can thrive in every area of your life.
So important. So important. I mean, it was really important that with the women's cohort that we do, the reset experience, that we had the emotional component. And while I bring the wellness, you know, movement mastery, nutritional resetting, personal development, all of those elements, I attempted to do a few sessions around emotions. And I was like, this is not my lane. I need to collaborate with someone who can do this. And that's actually when Irina and I reconnected. And it's just, you know, like I've said earlier, it's been the gift that keeps giving.
Yes.
and it will continue to give if you do that work. I mean, we now, all of us, you can see our fitness videos. We work out together, we eat healthy together, we're working towards our goals, and it is so much better to do it with your sisters and your brothers and people that you love than trying to do it on your own. And that emotional component is so important. I want to encourage you all out there to get connected with Coach Irina, and she'll be sharing a little bit more about Reclaim Your Radiance and the Hope Reconnect framework and all of that I know is going to bless so many of you out there. It's going to be just the process you need to go through before the next level. So yes. So Tia, talk to us about how you help leaders to open up to more possibilities. Do you feel like at some point we hit that wall and it's like, where am I going? I don't know which direction I'm going. How, when you get to that wall, what is the process like as a coach, as a strategist that you would give a leader to keep moving forward?
I really believe that the very first healing level is being seen. And oftentimes, if you're a leader, you already have some sort of evidence that something inside of you is different, right? And you've known it since you were a child. A lot of times, they really just need someone to say, I see you. I see your vision, and you can do this. And let me hold your arms up, while you put yourself back together to get it done. And that goes so far in the right hands, right? It goes so far. It's just letting someone know, I see you. And I learned that. I was an only child for like the first half of my childhood. My parents had children later. And I was always the different one in my family, I'm the oldest amongst my siblings and my cousins. And it was difficult for me to be seen in my family for who I was. And I spent a lot of time alone. It was very lonely. And then if you're the saved child, the believer child, then you're especially isolated. So loneliness was a deep part of my heart that had to be healed. And it took such root in my identity that I built an entire business around not wanting people who are different to feel alone. So that became really the first line of my calling, is just to help them feel that someone is with them. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to do everything for them, right? But a lot of people just need to know, if I have an idea, can I call you? I'm excited about something. Can we meet up for coffee? Can I run this by you? And they need a trusted source of someone who's not insecure, that's going to hear their idea and take it. And just can give them good feedback and give them constructive criticism, whatever the case may be, or someone who can pick up the phone and say, I know someone who does that. Or would you like for me to make an introduction? People need that, when you're ready. A lot of leaders just need that kind of source. They already have the vision in their heart. They just need to know that they're not crazy, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
and you always let me know I'm not crazy. Go for it.
We can do this. It's possible.
You're a strategist.
Exactly. So, and that's just my thing. The next step, nothing sounds impossible to me. I think Irina thinks in systems. I think in processes. So let's lay it out on paper. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is done, right? Boom. And so that's what I'm a first steps coach. I'm the destiny midwife. We're going to get this done. It's possible.
I love that. I love it. And that's what makes our bond so powerful. And we wanted to just show up today to have this heart to heart. I'm sure we're going to have more conversations out there, but we wanted to show up so that, first of all, you could see in real time 3 women who are collaborating, connecting, growing together, and also connecting with a whole army of other women out there. One of the highlights of 2025 was Camp Voice. Let's talk about Camp Voice, okay? Because now we're going to talk about some things that in the future you all can get connected with us with. We collaborated on Camp Voice. I'm going to let Tia talk about Camp Voice because that was her vision. But I do want to say this. When the vision came to Tia and she began to share about retreats and taking leaders away so that we can refresh and also get some marching, orders in place, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I want to do retreats too. I've got to do retreats. And in this past year, I have completely given myself to the vision of Camp Voice because that was the retreat. You see what I'm saying? You see how a lot of times we'll miss it? So then I'll go over here and start trying to do my own retreat. We got the retreat. T already did the retreat. Shout out to my bestie, Sarita Lane out there. Sarita has the fashion line, the fitness line. I'm not about to go do the fitness line. Sarita, you supposed to do that. Don't forget that. Rita, get on the fashion line. So she's doing the fitness and the lifestyle gear, right? We all have our different components. And I'm not even thinking about another retreat on my own. I'm just thinking about Camp Voice is the only retreat on my mind right now. So tell us about Camp Voice. And then we're going to talk to you all out there about opportunities to collaborate with us in the future.
Well, like I said, leaders are my ministry, and it's not necessarily men or women, but women, of course, is just where my heart is. I understand that, right? I understand what we need. Oftentimes what women need is clarity. Once we have it, we can do a million things. But it's getting to that point where you allow yourself the space in the room to gain that clarity. And that's what Camp Voice became. I instantly, when I knew that I wanted to do a retreat where we got away, and it's a beautiful, beautiful resort that we get away to, and we will be expanding, and we'll talk more about that, I'm sure. But I just knew that it needed to be mind, body, spirit. I developed Camp Voice around some of the women that I have watched fall apart on their journey of having their most successful years. And I'm not saying it wasn't that their business was falling apart and that their reputation was coming down. It was always when they were on the brink of their success that I'm watching their health fall apart. I'm watching their families fall apart. I'm watching them break down. I had a young woman that I worked with, and literally, if it were not for that Zoom call, we would not have caught the stroke she was having. We saw her face change. She had been up all night long. She was wearing the clothes from the night before. It was her best year. And I knew I did not want to lose another woman in the strength of her ministry and everything that she's called to do, to serve and to make transformation for her community. And now she's gone. So Camp Voice was born for that reason. I'm a mindset person, and while you're so great with the body, and I knew we needed the spirit, right? So that's why I think we're such a great collaboration of mind, body, spirit to come together and walk someone all the way through it, so they can get that clarity, because alignment matters, and all those three pieces need to be aligned for clarity. So I wanted them to have a retreat to rebuild those habits, building the habits around, what are some daily exercises you can do? What is the emotional work you need to do? What is the vision that it is that you're trying to give birth to, instead of just going and going and going, and then they hit a wall because they have a heart attack, or they're, now their marriage is falling apart. I wanted them to learn how to build the habits they need to build to keep themselves healthy first, so they can then pour into whatever the mission is from them. And that's what Camp Voice is all about.
I love it. It's so much fun too. We just we bring food, and we have a pool, and we got sauna, and we got all sorts of hot tub. We have a great time. So, with that, one of the things that we've spoken of going into 2026 was that we need to travel with leaders. We got to get out of here. We got to get out and explore. And so we do want to find interest out there. Who is out there who let me say it the right way. I just lost my thoughts. I'm gonna edit it out. But so who of you are out there? Those of you out there who are, you're building your dream, you're building your vision. 2026 is a big year. What interest would you possibly have in a getaway, a trip, like going to another country and experiencing new things and being in a safe environment where you can do that as well? We want to get some insight into that. So drop in the comments if that's you. If you want to get out of here and you want to redirect your vision, you want to refresh your physical well-being, your wellness. We want to hear from you, because we are collaborating and building towards getting leaders out who are ready for destiny. So we're going to tell you guys more about that in the near future, but we do want to know, who are you? Those of you out there who are ready for a refreshing that is going to propel you into your purpose, definitely connect with us. So a couple of questions I'm going to ask in closing, ladies, is I want to ask you, what would you like those out there who have maybe held back from collaborating, held back from moving, in a space where they're working with others?
Mhm.
What are some things that you would like to leave those people with?
That's a great question. And so I would say that if it's in your heart to collaborate, and if you have the desire to not just do this alone, go for it. But do the hard work that you need to do. Show up, prepare now, because it's coming. But you want to be able to bring something to the table. And so the purpose of doing the hard work is so that you can bring more to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So allowing that pruning process to take place, right?
Yeah.
Because it's in that, we're doing a whole series on, the journey to becoming. And so, that's discovering who you are, but allowing that process to take place so that you can really show up and be all that you were created to be.
Yeah.
In
that's
that
so
collaboration, so you can add the value, so you can start to, propel
good.
that collaboration forward.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Tia?
You know what I would say is that I've seen a lot of collaborations go wrong when someone is collaborating too soon.
Mm.
As soon as they have an idea, they're thinking about who to partner with.
Mm.
And there's a time for that, but I believe that time happens when you have already walked something alone, right? And
Yes.
you know it from start to finish. So if you have an idea, I would encourage you to sit down, plan it out from start to finish. Look at every single point in that process, in that system. Consider going it alone. So that way, when God sends you people, you fully appreciate the weight that they carry. You're not threatened by it, but you can
Yes.
appreciate it because you know what it would be like to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important. And you can allow them to be them
Yeah.
and bring what they bring to the table and not try to control it, because you've walked that whole process by yourself, you also know your limitations.
Yeah.
So that's important to me. I've always had to be more of a solopreneur. Now I'm called to the collaboration journey, but it's only because I used to do everything. Now I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
I thank God that you were here to do that, and I can fully appreciate them for that. So that was deep work that I had to do to mature and really appreciate those who could come alongside me and help me, and also learning how to ask for that help too. I have no shame in asking for that help anymore, because I know exactly where something's going to fall apart if it's in my hands.
Yes, that's so good. So good. I want to leave you all with two things I want you to do some research on, okay? So this is some homework for you. I want you to look into collaboratives in travel and collaboratives in land ownership. I want you to think about those things. And there's a reason, right? I'm not just telling you to tell you, but those two spaces are so powerful in terms of being able to impact cities, communities, and the world at large. Number one, travel. In travel collaboratives, you get an opportunity to meet the world, right? Like, I can't wait till we're in Dubai, in Thailand, and all the places we're gonna be with the leaders. And you get to become expansive. I remember my grandmother as an entrepreneur, she was a traveler. She was a world traveler, and she raised me. So here I was in Monrovia, Liberia, with my nurses and all the people that took care of me, because my grandmother was in China for like a week, and then she would bring me back all the Chinese toys. And so sometimes I just think about that, like, wow, I wish I had been able to pick her brain more and see, you know, how did you get in that relationship with Mr. Chang? I remember Mr. Chang, he was coming from China to do some work with my grandmother. I don't even know what they were doing, but how did you create those global collaborations through travel? You got to get out there. We got to get out there. The other thing I think about land ownership, this comes from, you know, what my wellness mindset is. I just believe without a shadow of a doubt, just even from what I see in the word, that there is power in getting back to the land. That is what the biggest struggle of all mankind has been. People attempting to gain some form of land. So imagine the type of collaborations that can happen. Think about family legacy with land ownership through your family. Those are things I'm studying and learning about now. Think about collaborations where you and your partners and your friends purchase property together, right? So many of you are out there already doing these things, but this message is for those of you out there who are trying to figure it out. So those two things, I want you to just do a little research, do a little deep dive, and then send me a message. I'd like to hear what you discovered. But those are two things that are really on my heart in terms of collaborations going forth in the future. I am so glad that we had this time, ladies. And I know it's not going to be the first time. We're definitely going to come back. And I just want to thank you both. Thank you, Tia, for just being such a wonderful friend and collaborator. Thank you for always empowering me. Thank you for those calls in the middle of the day, like, well, man, I'm just telling you to go for it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Irina, for this season of just helping me get organized in my emotions and in my home life and business. You ladies are of great value. So those of you out there, get to know Tia Harrell, get to know Irina Currington, and get to know us, because we are collaborators in 2026. And we are here to inspire and empower you to become everything that God created you to be.